And welcome to another exciting episode of The Energy That Surrounds Us. I'm your host, Michael, with the awesome and amazing co-host, Carla.
How you doing?
I just want to take a moment, y'all, to say this is episode 3, but we finally got the awesome intro that Carla created to run flawlessly.
Third time's a charm.
So I just want to give a moment of appreciation to Carla for all her hard work on that.
Thank you very much.
And so now we have a really cool guest that's joining us. He's a paranormal investigator, a great friend of ours. I give you Kellen Buckley.
Yay, Kellen.
Nice to see everyone.
How you doing, Kellen?
Doing great. Been really busy, just editing and investigating and all that good stuff.
Excellent.
So what have you been working on, editing and investigating? Anything you can share?
Yeah, I just finished editing and creating a Runnels County Jail video. That took a while just to go through all the evidence and put it all together. It probably took me like 20 hours this week.
Wow.
But it's always really rewarding to get to the final product. And it was an interesting investigation.
It was.
I've been in there several times, but to really investigate that place well, you kind of have to have like the exact right amount of people. I did an hour by myself, and that was actually kind of quiet because I think a lot of it might be residual energy. So the more people in there and the like vibrations, I think it kind of like shakes stuff up. It makes like the stuff replay better. That's kind of my theory. But if you have too many people, it's so echoey that you can't validate anything.
Right.
So I did an hour by myself and then was joined by Ghost Geeks. And like when I was there by myself, I got some knocks. I got some EVPs that I didn't hear in real time. But then when Chad and his crew came in, like stuff started to pick up. But it didn't really seem to be like responding intelligently necessarily. Like there were some knocks, but there weren't like any like contextual answers to any of our questions. Like every once in a while, there's like a burst of whispers. So it could have been intelligent, but it's just, you can't necessarily say that, but you can definitely say it's at least residual.
Right. And for those of you who aren't aware, when we say it's like an echo chamber, you enter the first floor, you go upstairs to a second and then the third floor, and there is nothing to wash the sound of any level out from another level. It is just pure open. So anybody in the third level, you can pretty much hear them on the first level.
Yeah.
There's no fabric whatsoever. So it's just metal and concrete.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of good in a way because like, sometimes you hear a knock or something. You're like, oh, where was that? At least at this place. What's up, Chad? Nice to see you guys, Ghost Geeks down there. What was I saying?
You were saying about it having no fabric and that it's concrete steel and that the echo and the sound, you can hear the knocks really.
Oh, yeah. So that's a good thing. Like if you do have like a really small amount of people, like if you hear a knock and it has that echo to it, it's in the building. And if everyone's with you and it's somewhere else, there's really nothing to fall because it's such like a clean environment. There's it's not like a rickety old place where like a board could pop or something. It's a pretty solid place. So if you hear like a knock with an echo, I think you're pretty much in business.
Well, and one thing I will say for the jail too is you're not going to hear like the creaking of the floor boards like aging or anything. So if you hear footsteps, it's clearly something is walking there.
Yeah, and we did get that several times. So we got a few that I didn't hear. I don't know if I just had bad hearing because I listen to music too loud or not. I need to get like something to listen better when I'm investigating.
Well, you are a guitarist, so there is that.
I listen to music loud. I play music loud, so subtle sounds are they have to be kind of loud for me to really hear them. But fortunately, a lot of people have better hearing than I do, so they pick up on stuff. And then when I review my evidence, it's pretty loud and clear on that. So
now on your videos, I noticed some of them you add music to. Do you write that music, or
no? I get open source music. Some of that I paid for, so it's just you could use it once you pay for it. You could use it for whatever.
Right.
That's kind of one of my struggles. Like you can't really monetize anything until you have like original music. It's like all those videos I can never monetize unless I switch out the soundtracks to something like I've made or licensed.
Better get playing.
I know. It's so hard to make quality. It's like those soundtracks are so like quality. It makes it kind of like ups the professionalism a little bit. And I like to drop it out sometimes just so you could really see like what the environment sounded like. But I feel like when there's nothing going on, like the music kind of like takes you along and kind of like sucks you in a little bit. So I kind of like to have that in there, but then also have the silence. And I review everything before I drop the music in, so I know where all the EVPs and stuff are. So when those are coming up, I just cut the music out altogether.
So where can people see these videos that you create?
Most of them are on Lonestar Paranormal Research on Instagram, but we just kind of remodeled our YouTube channel, and it's now called Lonestar Paranormal Research TV. And I'm trying to put like more high quality videos on there, but also just uploading a bunch of stuff that's already on Instagram. But this video won't even fit on Instagram, so.
Yeah, Instagram likes to make everything like a short.
I mean, you could fit a pretty long video on there, but some people watch them all the way, but you get more like complete plays on YouTube because people are there to, really watch something. Instagram's more like a kind of scroll through thing. Not too many people want to watch like a 15-minute video on Instagram, which I don't blame them, but I kind of put it there because I like having it because it's a nice catalog kind of all my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And they're really worth watching, everyone. Trust me. You
Very
will,
worth watching.
you will hit. If you don't have the paranormal bug in you, when you watch this, you will sit there and go, I need to go on an investigation.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
But yeah. Also, Justin Sutter's my teammate, so he does most things with me. He's in most of the videos, and he helps me out a lot with. We just have a pretty good team going. Like my kind of rule of thumb, like you've seen my camera. It's just a little camera, but the reason I just have one camera is because I want to review every second of it. So the more cameras I have, like if it's a 5-hour investigation, that's 5 hours I have to sit and review every second of. So if I have 3 cameras, that makes it 15 hours, and it just keeps getting. So it's really nice to be like, I kind of review all my stuff. And then if Justin's with me, he has better microphones and stuff. So I'm like, oh, can I see if you have another angle on this and whatnot? Sometimes just better sound quality.
Yeah.
But it's like a really big moment. And
pretty
he's filming
good.
a certain way. We could switch the angles and stuff like that. So just having those multiple cameras is really nice. But I work with whatever I got, really. Like, it was super nice having Chad with his drone because that like ups the quality, just having that drone in.
Yeah.
So I
No
like
doubt.
I can. But if I just have my little camera, I'll just do that. But
Yeah. So one thing I was curious about, because I've known you for a while, when and how did you and Justin team up and form Lonestar Paranormal Research?
He was with another team. It was called Texas Paranormal Society, I believe. And they did an event in 2020 at like Granbury Jail.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I met him there. Like he was kind of the organizer. Like I saw that event on Facebook and I was like, oh, I really want to go to that. And then a drunk driver totaled my car. It crashed in the middle of the night. So I was like, I don't think I'll be able to make it. But I bought a new car like right in the nick of time. I went back and looked at that event and it said sold out. I'm just like, crap. Like, so I just saw that Justin was the organizer. So I just hit him up. I'm like, hey, I see this event sold out, but like, I'd really like to go and I won't be like a nuisance or anything like that. So I went. I didn't know him at all. And I met him. And he's just cool. I liked his style. He's pretty chill. And
I gotta say, I like that you introduced yourself as I won't be a nuisance.
I mean, that's like the main, like that's
I'm not going to disrupt anything.
that's my main.
You don't know me, but I won't be a nuisance. I promise.
Yeah, I just like I don't know. My investigation style is like I don't mind like joking around a little bit, but I like to like. There's kind of like areas where you could go if you need to like talk or decompress.
Uh-huh.
But some people, they'll go to a location, they'll be in the spot you're investigating and just having like conversations about other things or just kind of like, it just contaminates everything.
Right.
Right.
And it just sucks if there's like a big moment and someone's talking about their favorite Netflix show. Kind of ruins your video. Like, I really can't use this now.
So what made you guys decide to just work together?
Well, on that investigation,
Wasn't a nuisance.
he was just like my favorite person. Like, I just remember like everyone else was kind of like, well, I don't know. They were a lot more intense. Justin was just like sitting in a corner in the dark, like by himself listening. I'm like, I like that guy.
Yeah.
And then like there was another event at Yorktown a few weeks later, and he was going to that. So we kind of met up there again, and there was a bunch of people, but we just kind of hung out and did our thing. And then we did a few more, and then I was like, yeah, we should start a team. So we did that.
Right on.
Yeah.
And then a few investigations after that, we met Phoenix Jansen. She's really cool too.
Mm-hmm. She is.
You know, everyone kind of has their own thing, and she brings a lot to the team. I guess she does a lot of our. I'm good at like investigating, but I'm not really good at like the like I'm not good at calling up a location and being like, hey, like I don't know, I'm a little too abrasive or something.
Right.
I don't know. She's just really good at greasing the wheels and finding stuff like that. So she does a lot of the like kind of booking and helps me plan stuff. And plus she's a good investigator and
Yeah.
you know, sensitive. So yeah. So she's kind of joined the team. I mean, she has her own thing too, but I consider her a part of the team. And she is a part of the team. But she also has like Phoenix Rising or something.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's kind of like her own psychic thing.
Yeah.
So we're not really, we're kind of like, we're like hard, like it needs to be on film, needs to be on audio sort of deal.
Yeah.
So it's kind of two different things. She likes doing the psychic stuff, but our team's just kind of hard evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she can probably at least offer up, like maybe
Oh, if she says she
some
has
of the
like
story
feelings,
to help, like
Yeah.
some of the story,
Yeah.
possibly.
Yeah, no, if she has like a feeling or something, like I'll
Yeah.
go that sometime.
Yeah.
See if we get any answers based off it, or you know.
Right.
But
Yeah.
still, at the end of the day, our thing is like, if she says something, then asks a question, and there's an answer, then it's like, okay, that's like kind of what our team is.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a good team, you
Thank
guys. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, Kellen, admittingly, you always seem to catch EVPs in all your videos. So
Mhm.
I started referring to you as the EVP guru. And it was like, I want to learn from Kellen how he gets these EVPs. Because I was like, you always seem to have them.
That'll be his like middle name. It'll be Kellen EVP Buckley.
Yeah, a lot of it's just the environment, knowing who's around you, reviewing every second of your footage with really good headphones.
Mhm.
That's a point. Like if you're just listening to your computer speakers, I feel like it sometimes doesn't have the dynamic range to be able to listen to that kind of like under I guess it's kind of below, it's just above the noise floor, I guess.
Mhm.
You know, like on every recording, if you boost it high enough, they'll be like static.
Right.
Like EVPs usually sit like right above that if they're not like the super loud ones.
Can I ask you what software you use by chance for?
Just for editing, I use just the free version of DaVinci Resolve, which is good. DaVinci 17. It does everything I want pretty much, except like the last video I was making, it was kind of stressing it out. It crashed a few times, so I just had to make sure to save like every like 2 minutes or whatever.
Got it.
It gets the job done. They're better programs. Adobe's better and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it does what I would need it to do. Like it presents the evidence, you know. All my equipment's kind of like cheap because I don't know, I kind of think of it like I like investigating, but I like filming. So I got to be able to do both things at once.
Do you find that hard to do?
Not with that camera. Just because that camera, like I forget I have it. It's like it's a 2-inch camera. It's a police body cam, but like a really small one. So it's really like it's really sturdy. I just put a battery pack on it. So it's never run out of battery on me once.
Really?
People are like their batteries are draining and stuff. Or their lens isn't fixed, so it's like trying to adjust to the lights. But that's just a fixed lens, so it's always in focus. And it's not like the prettiest image, but I mean, got stuff on Fright Club, so
Yeah. So your body cam, does it create a low hum on all your recordings?
Like really low down. Like if I boost it too much, you could hear it.
Yeah,
But there are better mics. That's one of the drawbacks. Like it doesn't have the best mic. That's another reason why I like Justin there with his other cams. Because sometimes if I get something, oh, who the Amber Alert! You guys just get that?
Yeah, I did.
What was I saying? I was talking
Justin
about
with cameras.
yeah, my camera. The one thing about my camera is that like the mic's not the best. So sometimes if I hear something audibly, it doesn't even pick up. But it will often pick up on Justin's cams. So we still have it. So that's always nice. So there are drawbacks to everything, but
Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't really bought that much equipment recently just because I kind of found what I like and
Stick to it.
I think it's reliable. So I know like every piece of equipment can give false positives some way. You have to like know what they are, what the things that could trigger them are. So I feel like I'm pretty competent with like REM pods. Just because those, like sometimes they get a bad name because they have an EMF field. So EMF devices can trigger them, like cell phones and stuff like that. That's why, like, especially now in investigations, and everyone has a 5G phone. Like when you're on location, you kind of got to put it in airplane mode.
Right.
Those
we
get
found that out in Jefferson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you put a REM pod down, it's good to just do like a sweep around it with a K2. I don't really rely on EMF for like necessarily. I mean, spirits can have EMF, but it's more now it's to like test my other equipment to make sure like stuff isn't gonna trigger my REM pod. Like if there's a non-grounded wire, like that could trigger it because it can mess up the EMF field.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of use like K2s and stuff like that now to just kind of like go around my REM pod to make sure there's not like spikes in EMF and stuff like that. We've been doing some more like experiments with EMF, like actually raising the EMF field. And then we're not taking that into account as paranormal activity, but we're like doing like EVP sessions with the raised EMF field. Like last time at Ballinger, we used that plasma ball.
Mm-hmm.
Gives off crazy EMF. So we put that down, a voice recorder. And then we did a session. And I haven't actually even reviewed that whole thing yet because I was doing the Runnels County thing. So that's like this week. But we did get like footsteps running by the door.
Really?
Yeah. And that picked up pretty well on Justin's binaural microphone. So we just got to check Chad's cameras to make sure there wasn't like that possum running by. Because he had DVR cameras in there. But it was definitely too light to be an adult.
The possum only made its appearance.
I don't think a possum would make. Possums don't really run; they're kind of slow.
Yeah,
it sounded like 2 feet, but you just always got to check.
Yeah.
So we basically just got to make sure that's not a possum or an animal, and then
so
on that.
Anthony Sabelos in the chat group. He's I think founder of Texas Wraith Hunters. He's asked, what part of Texas you from? My team, Texas Wraith Hunters, are from West Texas, Odessa.
Cool. Yeah, I'm from Austin. Justin's in around Fort Worth. And then Phoenix. Oh, Chad says no animals. Sweet. I guess he looked at the DVR. Yeah, I'm from Austin, and Justin's from Fort Worth. So kind of in that line. It's kind of nice because it's pretty
not that far from each other.
Yeah, not too far as Texas time goes.
Yeah,
3 hours isn't too bad.
Driving a day and you're still there.
Every investigation I go to is 3 hours. That's like a short trip, basically.
So where is your favorite place to investigate?
mean, I love Nazareth Hospital.
I know. I wish there was a way that we could do that again.
I miss it.
A lot of places have surprised me, just like little places that I wasn't even expecting. A lot of the big places, like, oh, this is gonna be great. Then, like, I think you get your expectations too high. But some little places I've gone into, have been like off the charts. Like, I did this bookstore in, well, I won't say where, but a bookstore with John, and it's not that far from me. It's kind of a weekend. He's like, yeah, it's an old speakeasy. It's on. I'm like, okay, I'll go check it out. That place is just like off the charts. Like, we all heard this loud, like, grovelly voice and books lifting up on the shelves. And then in October, I went home to New Hampshire, and there's this theater that's pretty much been in my life for a long time. My mom used to do a lot of theater there. She still does. And there's always been ghost stories. My brother did theater there. Everyone has like the same ghost story. They're like in the auditorium by themselves, just like taking it in. And then they all of a sudden just get like a feeling of dread, like they need to get out of there. Like all their hair stands up.
Wow.
So I did that place, and like, I don't, like, everyone's experienced stuff, but no one's ever like tried to contact it. So I think as soon as like it realized I wasn't going to run and was there to talk, like, it was just crazy, like flashes of light. Like, my mom came with me, and she's never been on like an investigation or anything. So she saw like something go across the stage, and I did one of those phone sessions I did. We got just random male voices coming through. And that's the one where I got the piano playing in the basement, like completely covered piano.
Oh my gosh.
There was no one in the basement. Like, the theater was locked up. Everyone was out in the audience.
Can you explain when you say the telephone, how you're using the phones?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I call it a ghost call. And I put one cell phone in a room with oftentimes an EVP recorder, sometimes not, because sometimes the voices just come through. But I think just your voice transferred through the EMF fields and out is kind of like in their realm of things, because that's how they communicate. Because I'm pretty sure ghosts are a field of energy. They obviously communicate through that field. So you're kind of like on their level. You're just also a disembodied EMF voice coming out of a field at that point. So just some of the things you get that come through are crazy. You'll hear like a man's voice or a woman's voice, and the words are usually more clear than they would be just on a normal EVP.
So
there's a little bit of feedback, like you'll hear your voice bounce back, but then there'll be like another voice that's like.
So do you have two different phones then?
Yeah, you have to have two phones. So like, if we did it, I'd like be like, I'm going to call you.
Got it.
You'd go put your phone in a room.
Right.
Put them on speakerphone, both phones.
Okay.
You put a recorder in that room as well.
That's it, recorder. Okay.
So then you talk through your phone in a different room, and it gets transmitted through the EMF field, and it's just basically a disembodied voice, just like they would be.
Wow. Okay.
And the cool thing about using the phone method is you can be like, say, Ballinger, you can be in the jail, call a phone in the hotel, and do the experiment. You don't have to be in the same location.
No, we did. I don't know if you were there, Mike, but we did that in the wheelchair room. That's when we got the cat ball to move. Oh, you were there, Carla. You saw that.
That's when that thing came out of the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the many mysteries of Old Park.
There was a lot of people that jaw dropping. What the?
That was pretty crazy. We got some other voices coming through that phone too.
Oh my gosh.
We got like a woman, and we should do that there more. But.
Yeah.
That
was amazing to see.
Yeah. The telephone experiment, though, is hard to do when there's a large group of people, because you start getting multiple Linda Judd says Jenny Sullivan Sonyasi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So she's of the Emerald Isles Paranormal in Ireland. She
Hmm.
says have a listen to how they do a ghost phone call. Sounds similar to your technique.
Yeah,
So,
it's definitely a good technique. I think get a lot of interesting stuff a lot. So,
I know.
and then another thing I'm interested in that is some people don't put any stock in it. I put some. Is the orb, the infamous orb, because I mean you saw my last video. I put one in there. I don't
yeah,
necessarily say it's a ghost. In that, a lot of them I do because it's like two, but that one's like it's kind of close to the screen, the camera lens. So like dust can flare up, but my IR light's not that powerful. It was the only IR light, and it was too bright. And then it fades midway through and then brightens up again. So that's why I thought that one was interesting. But orbs, like if you have a cell phone or something and you're doing like a cell phone video, like it will just look like there are a bunch of orbs because like the light of the flash, it is just an effect it makes. So there's a lot of that. Um, so a lot of investigators they just say like, yeah, you can't count orbs at all. But I just think you have to be very I don't know what the right word is, judicious, I guess. It has to pass a lot of tests to be like legit.
you have to do
People
your
say a
own.
lot of things could give false positives,
Right.
therefore orbs can't exist, which doesn't make sense. Just means it's hard to study. It's like saying that stick bugs don't exist because most things that look like a stick bug are twigs. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you can't say that.
Yeah.
Just I don't know if that's a good analogy, but that's the analogy I like.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. So, bringing up the one that Carla's talking about, did we ever discover if that was like a fairy or an orb or what that was?
One at Old Park.
Yeah.
Um, I wouldn't necessarily call it an orb. That thing was slow moving, and it kind of like creeped up the wall like
Like a
that.
jellyfish
And
type
it came
thing.
out, yeah, and it was like strobing. It was crazy.
And
I
it looked
call
like
that
it had shape too.
that's like a more I don't know. I guess an orb has to be a sphere. Like I have a few things that aren't orbs that are kind of in the same. Like you've seen that spinning thing I got at Old Park that like drops down and kind of hovers there, and then like comes
Right.
like that's kind of in the same. I don't know class of things, but I guess an orb has to be a sphere. I just call the other stuff. I don't even know what you call them.
It almost looked like a little like angelic or something.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I've never seen anything
I
like
think
that.
those things don't produce their own light. I think they're energy fields. It's kind of like in a way, it's kind of like the energy feels so dense that it could reflect the IR light. It's not
Oh,
necessarily like creating its own light. Some of them can, like you can't see pinpoints of light,
yeah.
flashes of light, that sort of thing.
Because it was so different compared to the other orbs that we
Yeah,
saw coming down the wall in the different size where this thing was like undulating
yeah. It was moving
across.
so slow too. It was like taking
Yeah.
time. It wasn't like you kind of get the speed of dust. Orbs, it's kind of like if they have kind of like a magnetic movement, like if they kind of like they're going at speed and they speed up, slow down, then take off again. If there's no airflow, I mean, there's just a lot of things to judge on.
Right.
Depends how far away it is from the camera, the speed, if it disappears and comes back. Um, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Ooh, it's Steve.
Yes, he sent a couple of videos in the family chat from our investigation team, Ghost Tech Paranormal Research team, of a few places in Ballinger. And then
Oh,
he goes
cool.
on to say, I left you a trivia question.
Oh, nice. I'll check it out after the podcast. Or I can maybe read the trivia question. Let's see what it is.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm curious.
But let's see what Steve's trivia question is.
Let's see.
Can you show me?
Here it is.
Oh, you have it too? You could read it.
It says, let's see. He's got the videos and he says, I can't believe I broke out those old videos from Ballinger. Lots of laughs. Those were years ago. Lots of laughs. By the way, at Kellen, do you want to know a fun fact about my research team on the videos? Question mark. The investigator on our team name is Buck, is Connie LaFave's ex-husband.
Oh.
So I think he's wanting to know if you're let's see.
I'm trying to scroll through it really fast. There's a bunch of chats.
He goes, oh, he says,
Who's Buck on our team?
I also let the comment, hit the bell, and subscribe to Kellen. So it might be on your YouTube.
It could be. I'll find it later. Thanks, Steve. I can watch those videos too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, quick question I have, just out of curiosity. You were on the show with the Ghost Brothers. I know you weren't physically in front of them, but what was that experience like?
I mean, it was kind of nerve wracking just because I was sitting on this couch, like it was like a countdown. Like, are you ready to go live, Kellen? I'm like, yeah. And then there's like, and it just opens up. It's just like Jack Osborne, the Ghost Bro, sitting there, just like Kellen. But it's also kind of jarring because the show, there's all the slick editing and the little quirky music to make it entertaining and all that.
Right.
It's basically it's like you kind of have that like expectation because it's Fright Club, but it's just like a silent room with like 4 people staring at you.
Oh, so you were
They do all that stuff in post, so it's just kind of like jarring. But yeah, I had watching the interview, I did a good job, but like it was just kind of like I had tunnel vision doing it because I was nervous.
Yeah.
Like immediately after, I'm just like, I think that went well, but I don't remember what I said or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, apparently we answered the question.
Oh, nice.
I was just curious. I was just curious if they were gonna be like laughing and cutting up a little bit with you.
Oh yeah, they definitely cut a lot of stuff out. We probably had like that segment was probably like 5 minutes about. We probably talked for like 15. So yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about Waverly, just like investigating in general. But
Very cool.
They did a good job with it. I was nervous when I saw that episode. I'm like, oh no.
What's it like to see yourself?
It was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I did okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
I was watching. I was like going, man, that video that they were showing was like,
yeah.
Like at first you're looking and going, did I see what I think I saw? And then they're like, did you see? And it's like, holy crap.
Yeah. No, that was crazy when I was reviewing that for the first time. Just like
so you had no idea.
No, because it was dark.
That was behind you.
It was actually in front of me.
Well,
filming behind me. Yeah. So, but yeah, like that's why I stayed back there because like I could feel like the intensity of the air. So I was like, "Are you behind me? What's all this?" Like, and I was trying to like see if I could film it over my shoulder. And of course, as soon as I turn the camera around, it feels.
Yeah. So, to clarify, we're talking about a video that he had taken on the, was it 5th floor of the Nazareth
Yeah, in the ICU.
Hospital in Mineral Wells, that was on a famous TV show, The Fright Club. So you can check it out there. I believe it's still on Discovery Plus. Hey,
Yep.
maybe they'll promote us.
It's season 2, episode 10.
So Steven commented, well, I definitely had a blast with Kellen Buckley at the Holy Grail of locations. So I'm sure that means something to you, but everybody else I'm sure has a different
I believe that means Waverly. That is kind of the Holy Grail.
And Linda Judd says editing can save your butt.
Yes. Yeah. I try and make all my videos are pretty, like you could even see like in that jail video, like I try and make it like as I cut all the like fat out, all the stuff that's not necessary. Like we don't need all our conversations or
Right.
You kind of get to the point. But like the first like 30 minutes of the investigation were pretty silent. So I kind of tried to portray that in the video. Like the first like probably 5 minutes of the video, nothing really happens. It's just like me. So I try and like summarize the actual investigation. Like I don't add a bunch of drama or anything like that. Just so yes, Waverly Hills.
Chad says editing is the tough part.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to do all the context. I do a lot of that with I do like doing the voiceovers, but in the middle of an investigation, I feel it kind of takes you out of it as watching it. Some people say they don't like to read, but I just like to put like little kind of contextual subtitles in there to kind of help the viewer read along with like, you know, what we were thinking, what we were doing. So I was just kind of put those notes across the bottom and try and sometimes like the last one I did a narration intro just because we had the drone and all the nice footage.
Yeah.
But lots of times I'll just do it with subtitle text just to kind of help.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be challenging just like, because you can't just be like, oh, here's a thud, here's a voice. Like you have to have context around, you know, what you were thinking, what you were asking.
Do you ever put your EVPs on loop? Like to on replay? When you're doing your editing, just to have a viewer.
I usually play them a few times if I get a good one in the video. I'll replay like at least 3 times. I'll do it at different levels too. If it's a good EVP, I'll do it at the original level. That one's usually hard to hear.
And then turn up the volume
a little bit, and then I'll boost it like a lot. Yeah. So it's kind of like 3 different levels of it.
Right on.
So, got a question for you because this is something I fought with for a long time when I decided to start putting investigations on, like say YouTube or Instagram or wherever it is. How do you establish the editing and telling people I'm editing it for content, not editing to make like evidence be there that may not have been there? Like people who will
I say I edit for interest, plus it's supposed to be like a summary. So like say we have a whole conversation about something that doesn't have anything to do with the EVP, but then there's a few questions right before the EVP that do. I'll just like cut out that chunk of
fluff
conversation no one wants to hear.
Right.
It's just kind of stuff like that. Sometimes if there's a lot of space between like a question and an EVP, just for time in the video, I'll just like cut a little chunk out just so the EVP is a little closer. So not like too close, but like if there's in a video, like times everything. So if there's like 20 seconds from the time of the question to the EVP, you could just cut out 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, it's just more interesting and dynamic. And it's the same thing.
I was against editing at first because I was like, I wanted everyone to go. There was no way I faked what I got because here it is untouched. But then I was like, this is so long. Nobody cares.
the way I look at it, like I want to present my evidence within the context in an interesting way. That's I don't know. I guess that's it. I just want it to be like a nice, like say we didn't get the first EVP till 40 minutes into the investigation. Like I don't need that first 35 minutes.
Right.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you think about like every show or anything, like if you think about a paranormal show, there's usually 20 minutes of investigation, 10 minutes of interviews, 5 minutes of fancy B-roll. So, but those investigations, like you can't, if you have an 8-hour investigation and you want to make a 20-minute video, there has to be editing. You have to put in the good stuff.
Yeah.
Hi, Paula.
Yeah, we got a lot of people jumping in now into the chat group.
Yeah, the DVR live stream.
Kind of touched on it a little bit. I was curious, what's your take on when you're out investigating, say, like on a ghost walk or HHL, and people who are not investigators come up and are like, hey, because you take a photo and they know you're an investigator. How do you respond to people when they come up and are like, what'd you find? Because they're so used to the TV shows where everything's instant and they don't realize the amount of time.
Yeah, there's a saying, I don't remember who said it, but like the TV shows make paranormal investigating look like just like a constant adrenaline rush. But it's been the more accurate term. It's more like fishing. Most of it's sitting there in the dark,
waiting,
talking to yourself, waiting. Like we're doing an 8-hour investigation. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of the time it's just dead air. So
Yeah.
no one wants to watch a 8-hour investigation. It's like, yeah, then they have to look for all the EVPs themselves and all this and that. It's like, nah, people don't want to do that.
Yeah. So is there a paranormal show that you would be like, if somebody is a beginner and kind of wanted to see what it's like, that you would recommend, or just be like, stay away from the paranormal TV?
No, I think
something else.
Well, a legit show would be, I mean, obviously I know Mustafa and I don't really know Brandon, but I know of him and, I have a lot of respect for him. So I'd say that second, the reiteration of Ghost Hunters is pretty good. Just because, they're like, presenting their actual evidence and they're not trying to fake anything. I mean, everyone likes Ghost Adventures, obviously. I think Ghost Adventures is awesome. I think that's what gets a lot of people interested. But they're obviously they're not fake, but they're showmen. You know what I mean?
Right.
They've done thousands of investigations, and every time there's a knock, they're jumping out of their skin. It's like, that's not
Yeah.
what it is. Like, so,
yeah.
So yeah, I'd say what is it, 2022 or 2020 Ghost Hunters? There's like 2 seasons of that. That's pretty good, just as far as legit stuff.
So if he's talking about the one with
and everything, a lot of stuff on Ghost Adventures is, I'd say all the EVPs and visual stuff on Ghost Adventures is pretty good. The spirit boxes and the tri-fuel meters, those are pretty easy to. I think that's kind of to fill some dead space sometimes. But that's like the spirit boxes on Ghost Adventures are the only ones I really like. I'm like, no, it's kind of believable. But whenever I hear a spirit box in real life, it's just like AM radio like leaking through. Like, okay. Right. It's like, why when it's on FM can you hear like music and no voices? And you're like, oh no, it has to be on AM. It's like, okay. But yeah. I know some people like spirit boxes, so sorry if you're out there, but it's not my thing.
That's what Para Unity is all about. Everybody's different. And Steven says, since you mentioned it, I'll put the Old Park Hotel episodes in the family chat also. Just give it a few if you want. By the way, I watched your entire video of the jail, and it was brilliant. Makes our videos look amateur. Lots of love.
Thank you, Steven. Really
Or lots of love.
comment, and I
Either way.
will watch that video. Yeah, everyone loves Ghost Adventures. I watch every episode of Ghost Adventures. I'm not knocking them. Just when Billy puts a tri-field meter on a stick with a 5G phone right in front of it, I'm like, this thing's going crazy. I've never seen it do this. It's like, what?
Maybe
Every
so.
episode it does that. You do the same.
Oh my gosh.
But
So,
yeah, I love Ghost Adventures, and yeah, the old Ghost Hunters, like the original, that's obviously really good.
Yeah.
yeah.
They kind of got away from themselves in the end, but
I actually heard they brought the original one back, except no Grant.
they did. It doesn't really have the heart and soul, though, because back then they were, that was like kind of the first. I don't know if it was the first paranormal show, but it was just kind of like quirky and unique, like two like plumbers like doing ghost adventures in there, and now they're all rich and famous, and it seems very formulaic.
Yeah.
But they do get good EVPs.
Hey, Linda.
So, Carla, I'm going to let you answer this one.
What?
It says, hey, Carla, Michael, what's the name of your show about?
The energy that surrounds us. So we came up with that. We were trying to come up with a new name and rebrand. And for some reason, it just hit me, the energy that surrounds us. It's like everything is made of energy. Everything projects an energy. And so when we talk about the paranormal field and we talk about UFO or anything that's unexplained, there's still an energy. So this is basically saying that our show will encompass all energy. Did I do that right?
You did. And Linda, the fun part of that is I said to Carla, I was like, we got to start talking about all aspects of the paranormal, not just one asset. And she's like, but how do we do that? I was like, that's the challenge that we took on.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah. So thank you, Paula and Linda. And thank you to everyone that's popping in. And one thing I would like to ask Kellen, because you have this way of going on an investigation and kind of giving the presence of you've been doing this for a really long time. And I was surprised to learn you actually have been doing it about as long as I have. So what advice do you have for people starting out, whether they're individual or on teams, paranormal investigating?
I would say, for everyone, it's their own kind of journey. Some people kind of like to do it for the fun of it. I've just always taken I only have fun when I'm like investigating seriously. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm kind of like doing like kind of a casual investigation, I'm not really enjoying myself. That's not really what, like, I'd rather be by myself. I don't know. Than with like a giant crew sort of thing. Yeah. But yeah, I just like I'm just having a great time when everyone's just like seriously engaged in the investigation. And I kind of grew up watching, like, I guess I never like took it for granted because like I always, when I was younger, like I'd always just watch like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters and be like, oh man, I wish I could do that. And just like kind of their like ethics about it, I guess. Like I think that's kind of part of it. So what was the question again? I got off on a tangent. Oh, what advice would I give to
people starting
out?
I'd say take yourself seriously.
Well, I mean, I guess you got to think about it. It's not.
You have to think about what you're dealing with too. You're dealing
exactly. I mean, you're dealing with people.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was people. So, I mean, to try and be in an investigation where you're cutting up all the time, or you're making fun, or you're doing something, it's just not right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and besides like all that, like the respect, the just taking yourself seriously. I also I like the reviewing evidence. I like I went to school for art, so I like being creative. So I like the aspect of editing and putting everything together. And you have to be true to your investigation.
Yes.
But there's some creative. I mean, you got the music, you got the editing. There's creativity involved. So I just like every aspect of it. Investigating, and so I guess the first investigation I did was technically when I was like 9.
Really?
But I like a lot of people are like, oh, they'll say like their first investigation. I'll count that as in their resume. But so if that's the case, I've been doing it for a long time. But I don't really count that because I didn't even know investigating was a thing. But yeah, my mom was doing theater at this old town hall that everyone said was haunted. People say the windows are closed. It's an apparition in this back room. I was always interested in ghosts, and I didn't know if I believed in them back then. And I was like, hey, let's go check out this back room and hear it's haunted. So I went back and I'm like, what should we do? I don't know. Like, we should just ask them to make themselves known. We're just like, if there are any spirits here, can you make yourself known? And the pole chain light in the middle of the room just clicked off and left us in complete black. We just went running out of there so fast. I was terrified. But and then after that, just I grew up in New Hampshire. So just really old New England, lots of alleged haunted houses. So I just kind of grew up being interested. I didn't really have cable, so I didn't really start watching the shows and really know that investigating was a thing till college. So I kind of binged watched Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures. And then after that, I was just interested. So I'll go to graveyards and stuff like that and always be trying to find people to investigate with. I took my nephew on a ghost hunt when he was 7. Just an old graveyard. Yeah.
Kid will be in therapy for life.
Yeah. Hopefully not a super active, cemetery.
What was that experience like?
I mean, it was kind of just, we didn't get anything.
Right.
He enjoyed it. So
okay.
Yeah. He watches all that stuff with his dad now, so he's pretty interested.
Oh, that's cool.
So I gotta ask, because you and I both have this in common. What's up with you and the Chelsea doll? Anything coming up with that?
Ooh, the Chelsea doll. We got those original EVPs around it, and then we took it to an undisclosed location to further investigate it. But that undisclosed location was also extremely haunted. So it's hard to say if any of the activity came from the doll or from the location. And then after that, because we were like, okay, we did it at Fort Walters, that's haunted. We got EVPs around it. So we'll take it back to its original spot and see if we got stuff there. We got more activity there. But then after that, we're like, okay, now we need to test it in a non-haunted environment to see if it's attached to the doll. So we took it back to the hotel room and we did a session, but we didn't really realize that the walls of hotels are paper thin.
Oh.
It's like people having a party above us. And some bros started like fighting out front. So we actually got like on film, just like we're filming through the curtain, like these bros like, yelling at each other, like about to fight.
Oh my gosh.
So that we kind of scratched the that part of the investigation. Didn't really go that well. But I mean, everything we've done with the doll so far is interested. Can't necessarily say it hasn't. I mean, I just have to go off my evidence. So I'd like to say it's an attachment, but I can't prove it if it does.
Yeah.
So far.
Do you have plans to take her somewhere neutral in the future?
I think so. I think next time we're in Mineral Wells, we'll rethink that plan.
Yeah.
Try and find somewhere better.
It'll be interesting to hear what the outcome is.
Yeah. So, have you seen the footage where we were, and Carla and I were investigating the doll room, and that laugh that was coming across that just repeated for like several hours? It was like a digital kind of sound.
At Fort Walters?
At Fort Walters.
At the PX.
I heard a clip of it. You sent me like one EVP.
Yeah. What was your thoughts of that?
I mean, it sounded legit to me. I can't. That was a while back. I haven't listened to it in a while, but it did sound like a good EVP.
It's still unsolved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know the source of the doll, that we believe we found the source doll, but the source doll still has no batteries in it. And
so it wasn't electronic laugh.
No, there were no batteries in it,
but it wasn't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing was Shauna was actually telling me, because I hadn't heard it in so long, I kind of forgot a little bit about it. It was like back in my mind going, I'm focused on this now. And she said they actually heard it again.
Wow. I mean, that's interesting.
I know. And it's like, it's interesting it's still around, because I was thinking maybe it was something we were doing or something around us that was triggering it, but we weren't there and it happened. So so Fort Walters is one of those interesting places that you got to experience. Steven has a quick question for you. What is your favorite location you have investigated? I'll tell you, mine is Lost Furnaces, just for a base to the question.
Let's see. I mean, it depends on, like, the best evidence I've gotten is at Nazareth. Like, hands down, I got an apparition of a hand plus that shadow figure. So I just have to say, because of that, and just like that place, every time I go there, like, crazy stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's my favorite. Plus, it's also just such a rarity now that it kind of has to be my favorite because it's not available. And I got like the best evidence I've ever gotten there.
I know. I saw it at my first apparition in Texas there, and it's like, and I can't do anything about it because we can't go back.
I know.
But so yeah, I'd probably say Nazareth Hospital. Waverly's cool too. That one's also a rarity, so it kind of is up there. It's not like I could just go there every day, but that one you really just need to get in there for at least 2 days. Like, we didn't have enough time to investigate. Like, there's so much square footage. Like, we did a few spots because you have to investigate every spot thoroughly. So we did the death tunnel pretty well.
Is that the one with the chute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a good session in the morgue where the door opened. I got that on film. The isolation session in the body cabinet. That's just really memorable. That's one of my favorites.
I would think evidence or not, that would be something that would.
Oh yeah, it's just like it's like a privilege to investigate there. So many people want to, and it's hard to get in. And so that's pretty good too.
So Linda has a couple questions for you, and then should probably wrap it up because we're already over our time.
Yeah.
But she wants to know, do more investigations happen only at certain times of the year?
We try and plan at least one a month if we can. And an investigation, like one a month. I mean, so two's a busy month because, like, if I do an investigation, like it's the investigation, the review, the editing, out everything. So it usually takes me about two. Investigation for me is before it's all said and done is usually about 2 weeks because actually being at the location is only like probably a third of the investigation. I feel. You can't really see.
Yep.
You have to review all your cameras, your audio. That's also investigating. That's almost more investigating. You could actually see.
Right. See and hear things you didn't see and hear before.
But yeah, obviously, it's hard in Texas. It's hard to get a good climate for investigating. I don't know if I'd rather investigate when it's really cold or really hot.
Not hot.
Usually at night, the temperature drops. Then I guess you could bundle up. So, I don't know. Try to plan investigations around weather and I don't know, just when it's hot, when it's not. But I'll investigate whenever. I don't care. If I get a location, I'll be there.
So, Linda, this is an interesting question. I'm gonna ask it because you asked it. She says this is off topic, but do you think that the story of Beauty and the Beast is a take on Bigfoot? That could be a big reach. Lots of laughs.
Could be, I guess. The Beast could be a cryptid. Actually, no, that's magic, right? Didn't like a witch curse him?
Yeah, a witch cursed him, but I still would say, though, I mean, with werewolves, I mean, I think it could still be classified as a cryptid.
Oh, werewolf's a cryptid for sure, but the Beast wasn't a werewolf.
No, it wasn't.
Well, but werewolves are men that turn into wolves. So
But wasn't that a lion?
Beast
was
man
like
that turned into a beast.
Like a dog thing.
Mm.
Like a man. Isn't there a dog man? Yeah,
there is a dog man.
I guess. But yeah, no, that's more of a witch's curse.
Mm.
So, I guess to answer that question,
It's in the mind of the beholder.
Steven says room 502. I think that
room
Waverly.
502. I saw the infamous apparition in there, and I kind of feel bad about it because it's such a amazing thing to see, but I was like disappointed because a camera wasn't on, and it was pointed directly at that doorway when it went by. I just remember being like, "Ah, crap, my camera wasn't on."
Isn't that always the case?
Mad that my camera wasn't on. But yeah, I did see that apparition in 502.
Linda says, thanks for humoring me. And Steven brought up a good point. We had the Paralang Spear Fest that's coming in October. You plan on going to that? It's going to be in New Orleans.
In October? Yeah. I mean, if I can, I'll definitely be there. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Get to hang out.
New Orleans isn't even that far, really.
Nope.
You're pretty much you're a lot closer than we are.
Yeah, a little bit. It's probably still like is it an 8-hour drive? Maybe it's a little more, but
yeah.
You don't even have to worry about driving.
Good idea, Chad. Just give me one of those bracelets this time.
Bracelets? You got air sick?
Yeah. Well, we were doing circles around, like looking at the old Park Hotel and just like looking out that side window, then back to the horizon.
Oh yeah, that'll get you.
Messed me up. Just like hold it in. Then after we landed, he's like, "Oh yeah, we had barf bags in the back." I'm like, "Oh, thanks for telling me."
Yeah, in the back.
It took all my effort not to be. But on the flight back was fun though. I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't get airsick on the way back. I guess I got my sea legs about me. But
He said we did some 60 degrees ranked or banked circles.
yeah, we did.
Steven says, well, y'all are a lot much closer than him and his wife. They're in New Mexico, so
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you even flew the plane.
I did. That's pretty cool. Enjoyed it.
Right on.
So going back to Ghost Adventures real quick, I want to ask your opinion on the technique of provoking. Do you feel it's ever warranted, necessary, or is that something people, in your opinion, should not be doing?
In most cases, I try and stay away from it. At the Bauer Mansion, just because I was a murderer, we did a little bit of provoking, but I don't really like the name calling and just like the fuck you sort of stuff.
Yeah.
If it's like contextual, like I feel like playing the gunshot. Like I don't know, if you shoot your wife in the head, playing a gunshot's not as bad as that. So
No,
we did that to provoke, but usually I try to stay away from it because I don't think provoking just to get evidence is
right.
Unless it's like maybe like a serial killer house. If you want to make that risk or something, I'd probably provoke a bit. But yeah, in general, like if I go to a hospital or something, I'm not going to provoke some poor guy who died in the operating room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be honest, my
Or
stance,
someone's house, or
Right.
my stance on provoking is no, because I don't know what's gonna respond.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing. If you want to take the risk of something attaching or trying to mess you up
Or piss off the wrong spirit.
So yeah, I generally try to be respectful.
Respectful.
Yeah. So Linda's actually back with the one I haven't even thought about. I've been here. I wonder if the Carlsbad Caverns are haunted in New Mexico. Went there, really beautiful caves.
Yeah, I haven't heard of them, but if they were like Native American Holy Land or something, that rock and crystal could hold energy.
Oh, so Carlsbad Caverns is like, I think you have something near that in around Austin. It's a cave that has a lot of really cool formations in there. I don't know that it's
The
tied to
Longhorn
Native
Cave.
American.
Longhorn Caves are not that far away. I went there once. I should go back there. Forgot about that. I forget exactly where it is, but those are pretty cool.
Yeah. So Linda, that's a good question. I don't know if
I think some caves could be haunted if they were, people lived in them, but I don't know about those ones or what happened there or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were Native American spots. They might be.
Joshua says, I don't like triggers or provoking unless it's trying to solve a murder, etc., as an intuitive.
Yeah, exactly.
And Steven says, always treat a spirit as you would want to be treated, and you actually get more activity that way. It's about respect.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I agree with that too.
But even if you don't, I just don't want to, even if theoretically you could get more activity by being an asshole, it's like, I don't really want to do that. Yeah.
Well, here you go, Linda. Steven chimes in. He says, I live 7 miles from Carlsbad Caverns. Yes, they are haunted.
Cool.
So there you go.
Oh, road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I never would have thought of a geologic cave system as being haunted or not haunted. It just, I don't know.
I'm trying to remember where the Longhorn Caves were. I went 3 years ago with a friend. I'll look it up, but I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't been there in 3 years. I didn't even think about it till you mentioned caves.
Yeah,
they were actually a Comanche hideout, so it'd be interesting to go back there and ask some of the tour guides about it.
Yeah.
I do know I've been to one cave that was in Temple, if memory serves right. It's in Mother Neff State Park, actually. That is an Indian cave, and wow, those grounds are intense.
Yeah. I mean, all that rock and crystal.
Yeah.
Probably that could do like the stone tape sort of thing.
Yeah.
They have magnetic fields and electromagnetic fields. So, yeah.
Yeah. Steven says, so the Skinwalker cave we investigated is part of the Carlsbad Cave Network. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'd like to do some investigating out in Fantasy Canyon, kind of a different wheelhouse of things, but skinwalker hunting would be fun.
Yeah. When you said Fantasy Canyon, I was thinking, wait, did we just take a turn in the show to something completely different?
It's like right outside Skinwalker Ranch, pretty much, but you don't need like permission to get there or anything. So.
Oh, okay. Joshua says, great guest.
Thank you.
Linda says, I like researching. I'll look it up. I do research for writing stories. Oh, well, maybe
Excellent.
That would be cool to hear about.
Yeah.
Carla says, very sacred places, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I know. I remember at that Longhorn Caves, Comanche hideout, and they captured some people, brought them there. Then the cavalry went and rescued them. So I figure someone died in that conflict.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know this, but he says, so the caverns were discovered and found by a 12-year-old young man.
Wow.
Pretty well off 12-year-old young man now, probably.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So what's next for Kellen Buckley?
That's a good question. I think we're going to probably this month. I'm working on some stuff, but I think I'm working on doing something with Chad at Lavaca. It's a small place. So I think we're working on that. I haven't talked to him about it in a while, but that's the thing for February. And then I'm trying to save up some money to get out of state, do some other projects. We're going to try and do maybe Bobby Mackey's and at least that. So yeah, we're kind of just keep planning out our year right now. Oh, there we go. Yes.
I will say I have history with Lavaca, so
yeah, I've never been there, so that'll be another interesting jail. I want to do more stuff in the San Antonio area. That area is super, but I just like Lavaca and then. But yeah, I'd love to get down to southern Texas some more, and even western. But
Lavaca, the Black Swan Inn.
Black Swan Inn would be cool, but I think not that much of it is available to investigate. I think the family still lives in there, and they won't leave for the night or anything. So
yeah, they stay on the upper floor,
yeah,
bottom floor, and the rest of the grounds.
Yeah, if I'm going to pay $700 to rent out a place, I don't want a family there.
Yeah. Have you been to Cold Springs?
Nope.
Okay.
That'd be cool though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're just kind of it's the beginning of the year, so we're just kind of planning everything out.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're just trying to figure out what locations by the temperature it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know,
if it's outside.
So you're not stuck outside when it's 115 or something.
Oh, nice. Anthony's done the Black Swan twice. That's cool.
I've done it once.
Nice. I would actually like to do it. I guess I'd do that. Maybe.
So Steven says there are about 28 documented deaths associated with the caverns and network. Also, the Dark Canyon area where Skinwalker Cave is a body dump area for local murders. Wow. That will add a air of fun
road trip
investigation. Yeah, we should go there.
That would be a bucket list thing.
We should all head over to Steven's house and
That's right.
go play with.
While it's
trying to
cool.
go to the body dump.
Oh my gosh.
So, is there any place on your bucket list that you haven't investigated yet that you feel like is still possible, or some that you're like, no, I'm getting too old, not going
I'd
to
like to
happen?
do Fort Stanton. That's in New Mexico, I think. I think it's hard to get to, but that place is pretty good. That's where the new Ghost Hunters, where Brandon captured that crazy apparition on like that electron magnifying camera. We got crazy evidence there, so I'd like to do that a lot.
Anthony just gave you a spot in San Antonio.
Ooh, what is it? The Haunted Forest. Oh, there's some church around here that's in a forest that's supposedly really haunted, but no one knows where it is. But haunted forests are good. But forests are hard to investigate though.
Yeah.
Because there's so much noise anyway. Like, is it a critter or is it a ghost? Like, if a stick moves in a forest.
Stepping on twigs and stuff.
Yeah. But man, something like crazy would have to happen in a forest for me to be able to like say it. Can't be like, watch this stick move. It's like, yeah, it's in a forest. That's what they do.
Yeah, talking about
bushes or trees, Russell.
Yeah, it's like
talking about forest.
Investigating outside's hard. I've got one good UP outside behind Fort Walters.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know. It's hard to control the environment, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one forest I'd like to investigate.
Ooh, the suicide forest in Japan.
No, actually not. That one though.
That's a forest
of interest, but this one Josh Gates went to. It's in Romania, and it's thick forest, but there's this square area that is totally treeless, and nobody can explain it because there's like no evidence.
A few of those. There's
ever there.
There's another one somewhere. I don't remember where it is, but the magnetic field in it's just like insane. I don't remember where that is though. I think they might have done that on Ghost Adventures.
Wow.
But yeah.
Linda says, yeah, do a show by two teams. One investigate on screen in the caves. One who researches cold cases. That might be tricky to do, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's some planning.
And getting a lot of people together to do that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. I guess there's shadow people and apparitions there. I mean, yeah, San Antonio has a turbulent history, a lot of wars and stuff, so I can see it's like Gettysburg, I guess. That's outside. You can get a lot of apparitions and stuff there because it's like a war zone.
Well, yeah, you had the Alamo there.
See that forest. Ooh.
And I will say I went to the grave of Billy the Kid there, and it is really interesting to see. There's 3 graves, I believe, or no, there might be the spot where there's 2, and they're domed over in concrete, and there's a fence around it, and people throw money in there, and like you'll have like dollar bills in there. On a windy day, the money does not blow away. And they say there's a legend on it that Billy the Kid went to his grave with his money. So anybody who throws money on there, the money won't blow away because he'll still hold on to it.
Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff out there. But yeah.
All right. Well, we're actually approaching an hour and a half.
Cool. Yeah. Well, that's a great talk. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on. And
thank you very much.
Yep. Everyone watching, whoever that is, check us out on Instagram at Lonestar Paranormal Research and Lonestar Paranormal Research TV on YouTube. And please subscribe to both. And thank you for watching.
Thank you again, Kellen.
Yeah, definitely subscribe. You will not be disappointed.
No, you won't be.
Thank you to everyone in the chat group. We appreciate your guys' questions.
Yeah, it's great having everyone chime in.
Carla says, I really recommend you all. Oh, I really commend you all for investigating. I've seen a bunch, just went with the passing of my daughter, and I don't know if I can handle more. Well, every once in a while, you do need to take a break.
Yeah. No.
Really?
For sure.
Oh, Steven decided, I guess, since we figured out his riddle, he's going to give us homework. Kellen, Michael, and Carla, I'll give you a little Google challenge. Look up Fort Bayard in New Mexico. Went there and did a live stream coming from Tombstone.
Ooh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Carla's going to be shocked. I'm actually going to write this down.
I've already got it written down.
I know you do, but I never write stuff down. That's what I was going to say. You're going to be shocked. I'm actually writing it down.
I got a couple pages of Kellen's notes.
You guys are good with your writing stuff down.
Kellen's all like, I got this memorized.
Yeah, you too, Linda. Thanks for all your questions.
Yeah.
All right.
Catherine, thank you, Catherine, for popping in.
Yep.
Steven, I also live 1 hour from Roswell. Roswell is a trip.
That's how we get into our next paranormal thing. Roswell.
Oh yeah. And Roswell, you would be surprised, is almost like gotten rid of all the UFO-ology thing. There's like, I went driving through there like a couple years ago, and I was like, this is not what I expected. It's like more downplayed than I thought. So it might surprise you, but I don't know. They may be bringing it back up.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Carla, and thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're intrigued by the title, Linda. That was our hopes, because you'll want to watch, because we're bringing some different stuff in. Thank you, Steven.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks again, everybody. You have a good night.
Oh, Steven, you're just showing off now. He's an hour from the Morpholites. He's like an hour from everything. Man, he's got to live in the best location.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you.
Yep. So,
okay.
All right. See y'all.
Okay, see ya. Bye. Thanks.
Have a good night, Kellen.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so, wow, I'm going to need to switch screens. There we go. I forgot I had put that on there. So next week we got Victoria Monday coming on. That'll be a fun show.
That'll be a fun one.
And so definitely want to check that one out as well.
Yeah.
She is an author and paranormal investigator.
Yep.
So that'll be some fun. So
got some of her books.
Ooh, have you done any of them yet?
You mean read them?
Some of them are activity books, so I didn't know.
Yeah, no, I didn't get the activity books, but I did get the journals.
Ooh, juicy.
I did. Yeah. Yep.
So
next week will be good.
Yes, indeed. So thank you all for coming in, watching with us.
Yeah.
Have a great night. And
see you next week.
Yep. And if you're investigating, investigate safely and have fun.
Yep. Good night.
Good night.